We come now to a lovely little story from the Herald Scotland Online, and this is the story of a Glasgow teenager who's helped to uncover gravestones from the Middle Ages in an archaeological dig at Goan Church. Mark McGettigan volunteered to help the Stones and Bones dig at Govan Old Parish Church and found what turned out to be the first of 3 lost medieval sculptured stones, and he's aged only 14. I've got to say, I'm a little bit jealous. What were you doing when you were 14?
Digging on archaeological sites like he was.
Oh, were you? Oh, wow.
I was,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's impressive.
No, in fact, I was almost exactly the same age when I worked on my first site.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
In fact, I'll tell you. I can tell you what it was. It was the Roman settlement at Ickham in Kent.
Okay.
Including the Roman watermill. It was a wonderful site, great organic preservation.
But was there any BB2?
I'm sure there was. I've got the reports somewhere on one of my bookshelves. But no, in fact, I dug my. I did my first archaeology there. I dug my first skelly there. And this was with a combination of the Ashford Archaeological Society, whose site it was, because they were doing a rescue dig ahead of a gravel extraction. And because the site became so significant, the Department of the Environment archaeological team came in to do some work there too, under an archaeologist some people might come across his work called Chris Young. And amazingly, they let the amateurs stay and help as well. So it was my first work with professional archaeologists as well.
Very good, very good. So when's the blue plaque going up?
You'd have to put the blue plaque in the middle of a gravel lake.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, now, I mean, I'm certainly not deserving of a blue plaque. But no. I think what this shows is just how important and how wonderful it is to allow people to access this kind of to be a part of this kind of work, which is it's community based. He's there with his mum.
Yeah.
But the real telltale for me is when he's quoted as describing the find, and anybody who knows about early medieval Scotland knows how important these gravestones are as cultural artifacts. These carved stones. I think you might find it's Govan. I have a recollection because it's the site of the famous shipyard on the Clyde. But he says, Mark says, myself and two. I was just prodding the ground to see if there was anything there, and suddenly it made a noise, and I realised I'd hit something. Now, everybody who's done archaeology knows that sound. What have I just hit? What have I just potentially broken? But it's like the sound that you dread most is the pop.
Plunk. Yeah.
Archaeologists who are watching this will recognise what pops. But he then says, myself and 2 of the archaeologists worked out the area of the object and started to dig it out, clean it. In other words, what he's saying is he was instantly mentored and assisted, but he wasn't told, okay, thanks, we'll take over from here because this is too important for you. Yeah. He's still involved. And that's the most important thing about community archaeology. It's the most important thing about this story, I think, that they did it right. It's a great find. He'll remember that for the rest of his life, and hopefully his career in archaeology, if that's the direction he wants to go in. And the team running that dig did right by their worker.
Well, yeah, and also in that sense, did right by their worker, but also did right, I think, in terms of the purpose of this type of project.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah. Well, I think this is a great example, and I love the Stones and Bones name. That's brilliant. It's a great example of that first exposure to this sort of discovery, and also the fact that it's almost like the sort of thing that a journalist or an author would write. You sort of find it, and then you feel around for the edges, and then you take it apart. I love that it's almost
very
exactly.
Tactile.
Well, it's tactile, and it's almost exactly how you would want to find your first thing, I suppose, is what
Yeah.
I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Professor Stephen Driscoll of the University of Glasgow said that this was the most exciting discovery we have had at Govan. Govan?
Govan, I think it is.
Govan, okay. In the last 20 years, adding that the Govan stones are a collection of international importance, and these recovered stones reinforce the case for regarding Govan as a major early medieval centre of power. Also, interestingly, the discovery is timely because Govan Heritage Trust is embarking on a major refurbishment of Govan Old, which will culminate in the redisplay of the collection. So he'll be able to take, presumably, able to take friends and family over to see the stone that he uncovered as well. Brilliant. I have to say though, when I was 14, I wasn't excavating. I didn't. My first dig was when I was probably 17, 18, I think. I think when I was 14, I was just playing on my N64.
There are arguments as to who had the most misspent or best spent youth.
GoldenEye.
We'll leave
It's
that
all
up to
about
our viewer to
GoldenEye.